compensation, right? They're happy to issue points to their employees when they hit certain goals and objectives, because the company hits its objectives, the employee wins, and we win. We only get paid when our clients are successful. And it's a great model because we have an alignment of interest. We both need to win to make the employee win. And it's worked really well for us. So that's really what we do today in I Love Rewards. We're an incentive company based in Toronto. We have an office in New York. And our market's sort of the North American market for generally Fortune 500 companies. In the last 12 years, from literally from the brick or dorm room to sort of where we are today, there are a lot of things that I've learned, and I'm going to say that for the latter half of my presentation. But some of the things that we do today, which I consider sort of the I Love Rewards secret sauce, we pride ourselves on doing things differently. We've learned from a lot of great companies, and we steal some of those best practices. I think a misconception for a lot of entrepreneurs is that they think that they need to figure stuff out on their own. You just need to be smart enough to understand who you want to copy it. We take great ideas from Dell and Southwest and Google. We're always in search of the best answers and bringing them into our culture. Right? We're proud of them. We've stolen everything that we do from the best of the best out there because we want to build a great company. What better thing to do than to emulate another great company? And that's our strategy. So don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel, and worse, don't reinvent the flat tire. Don't do something wrong that someone else has done wrong before you. Just figure out what they've done wrong and don't do it that way. So some of the things that we brought in to I Love Rewards are things like communication. When a company grows to more than 2 people, the number one challenge is communication. And we weren't any different. At I Love Rewards, prior to, when we were running the 2 businesses, there was the grapevine, there was the rumor mill, people didn't know what was happening, where we were going, what we were doing, and when we had the Snap Promotions I Love Rewards, it wasn't a great time, to be honest with you. A year and a half ago, just to show you a little story of mine, a year and a half ago, we were running 2 businesses, really struggling, employee morale was really low, we were completely unfocused, just everywhere. In fact, it was at the point, my first time as an entrepreneur, where I was like, you know what? I don't want to be here. I'm done. This is too hard. This is not what I signed up for. I don't like hard. I like easy and fun and all the great things. And I was sort of at a point in my career where I was just willing to, throw in the keys, give them to my COO, good luck with it, I hope it all works out, because we were doing a lot of the things that we're not doing today. And I'll tell you some of those things that we did to change the company around in as little as 18 months. And we decided that, we're going to make this better, we're going to focus. We had a lot of great people on board, but we were missing a lot of the wrong people. And we focused on getting those on board, and we focused on things like communication, and we focused on things like on culture, and we focused on focusing and prioritizing. So some of the things that we've done in the last year to have to help us go from a really low company, not great to be there, I didn't want to be there, to be one of Canada's best, and 18 months later, is some of the things that I'll talk to you about today. So things like, for communication, we introduced a daily meeting called To The Point. It's a 9-minute company-wide meeting where you come into the big boardroom and we sit there and we talk about at a high level, the most important thing that you're working on today. We talk about any celebrating success or highlights of the business, everyone gets to contribute. We talk about red flags. I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to hear bad news. We embrace it. We rather deal with the smoke before there's fire. Right? If there's a red flag, tell us about it, and we'll stop what we're doing. We'll fix the smoke. We don't want to deal with the fire. At the end of it, vision committees get to do an update, and I'll talk a little bit about what we do with vision committees. And in 9 minutes, you now eliminate half the emails, half the phone conversations. You get everybody aligned, everybody engaged, and they're all moving in the right direction. That's a concept we stole from Dell, who's been doing it. Rockefeller was doing it 100 years ago in Standard Oil. If he created the world's largest company at the time, why not take that concept and bring it into I Love Rewards? Why reinvent something? So what we do is we take concepts and bring them in, and then we just change the names and call it what we like to call it. And to the point, being a point company, it sort of works for us. We introduced vision committees. And vision committees is a concept we stole from, evolved. Google has a rule called the 20% time. If you are an engineer at Google, you get to spend 80% of your time on your core function and 20% of your time on whatever projects you're passionate about. Well, it worked for Google. They were just named in the States as the #1 company in America to work for, $140 billion valuation in the last 10 years. It's an amazing success story, and it's worked for them, and they still do it, and they still embrace it. Well, how can we take that concept and bring it into I Love Rewards? So we came up with vision committees. So I'll give you an example. Rob is an account manager, He manages our largest accounts. KPMG does a fantastic job, but that's only 80% of his time. He is deeply passionate about telling our story in public relations and setting up things like this. So 20% of his time he is required to, actually he volunteered to lead our PR committee and spend 20% of his time at I Love Rewards. It's something he's truly passionate about. You know, Zach is an engineer from Queens, a Java developer, and spends 20% of his time on something completely unrelated to his field. So the 5 vision committees that we put out there were, you know, public relations, recruiting, celebrating success, social responsibility, and employee experience. Those were the 5 things at the time were really important to us, and we really encourage people to spend 20% of your time on another function at I Love Rewards that you're deeply passionate about. What else did we do? We launched Celebrating Success. You know, I like to have fun. I like to celebrate the wins. We have monthly rewards and recognition lunches where we all get together like a big family. We hear each other's success stories. We recognize peer-to-peers for the accomplishments they did. We have a program called our Applause Program. Everyone in the company has an applause certificate that they have to give to another employee for the reason of making I Love Rewards a great place to work. It can be for whatever reason you want, as long as you felt that person made your experience this past month better. And our rewards and recognitions are ingrained in our DNA, and it's one of the great reasons to work there and stuff. We rolled out I Love Rewards University. You know, one of the things that I learned in a growing company is that the best way to grow a company is grow people. You know, learning doesn't stop when you finish university. Learning is a constantly improving thing that you work on for your life. And we now have a 4-year I Love Rewards University modeled after Goldman Sachs 4 years university. If the world's best investment bank does it for all of their employees, why would we not do it at I Love Rewards? So now you start at I Love Rewards in your first year, and in your first week, like Frosh Week, you sit there and you go through I Love Rewards University year 1, and then there's a year 2, year 3, year 4 that we're going to be rolling out to get you to continue to be great. We introduce things like personal top ones. You know, in my opinion, it's hard to be great in life if you're only great professionally or personally. Life is holistic. You can't be one or the other, and it's important that our people succeed personally as it is that they succeed professionally. So what we did is at our retreat this past October, we rolled out personal top ones. And what we wanted you to do is we wanted you to think of the most significant thing that you want personally. And it couldn't be things like get a promotion or a raise, anything work-related. It had to be things that are personal in nature to you. Megan, our manager of employee experience, wanted to run the Toronto Marathon. So she made that her personal top one. Rob wanted to get a penile enlargement, so he made that his personal top one.
Thanks for the reference.
Just kidding. And whatever you wanted it to be, you now share that with 35 people. You committed to doing it. Next year at the retreat, you are going to accomplish your personal top one. And 35 of your peers who are going to help you, who are going to put a little bit of pressure on you, and who are going to encourage you with a company behind that to accomplish that, the likelihood of success is so much greater, right? There's strength in numbers, and we really encourage personal growth as well as professional growth to ultimately get to greatness. So those are some of the examples. I think in your packages, I know on our website, we've got the other 100 reasons of things that we've done at I Love Rewards to make us a really great company. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the billion part of the Bricker to a Billion. So that's sort of what we do today. Sort of what we want to become is we've been a custom loyalty company. We would build loyalty programs for really great companies, and we've learned so much from doing that for other companies. Well, we now feel that we can take all of those best practices that all these companies have shared with us and build our version of the best loyalty program in the world. That's our vision. We ultimately, as a company, our vision is to be the most successful rewards company in the world. So how we're going to do that is we're going to launch a program called Razor Points. So I want you to sort of think of air miles, and when you go to the LCBO or Dominion, you swipe your card, you get a mile. Well, we want to focus on the online world. There is no dominant